When I think about games that change the way I understand difficulty, there's one that always comes to mind. A game that didn't just challenge me, it broke me down time and time again, reshaped me, and then built me back up, and became a game I still love to this very day. No, it's not Dark Souls. Ninja Gaiden on the original Xbox, released all the way back in 2004, wasn't designed to entertain in the traditional sense, it was sort of designed to test you. It wasn't about giving players power, it was about teaching them how to earn it and enjoying every moment of it. It's hard to contextualize how radical Ninja Gaiden was when it came out. This was 2004, right? The golden age of cinematic action games. You know, Metal Gear Solid 2 had come out, Devil May Cry, Onimusha, Splinter Cell. The Xbox, meanwhile, was building its identity through shooters. Halo 2 had just set the new standard. And then came Ninja Gaiden, a Japanese action game that felt more like a martial arts training simulator. There was no pandering, no compromise. It demanded excellence, and it was unapologetically elitist. But that was kind of part of its genius. Itagaki and Team Ninja weren't trying to make a game for everyone, they were trying to make a game that believed in its players, the rare kind that assumes you're capable of greatness if given the right challenge. In a sense, Ninja Gaiden was like a precursor to the Souls-like philosophy, long before the term existed. It was proof that difficulty could be a form of storytelling. Now, most people remember Ninja Gaiden for its brutality. The headlines back then were all the same, the hardest game ever made, but the label misses what made it truly special. The game wasn't hard for the sake of cruelty, it was hard because it believed in you. You can't mash buttons in Ninja Gaiden. I mean, you can, but it won't help. You can't rely on flashy combos or cinematic spectacle. This is God of War or Devil May Cry here. Every swing had weight. Every dodge, every counter, every parry, it's all deliberate. Ryu Hayabusa doesn't move like an action hero, he moves like a swordsman. And that's the difference, subtle as it sounds. It changes everything. Because what Ninja Gaiden really asks of you isn't reflex, it's discipline and a willingness to learn. Set in the same universe as the Dead or Alive series, Ninja Gaiden follows Ryu Hayabusa, a young master ninja of the Hayabusa clan, as he embarks on a mission of revenge and redemption after his village is destroyed and a sacred artifact is stolen. The story begins in the mountains of Japan, where Ryu returns to his home village, the Hayabusa village, after completing training and missions abroad. He's welcomed by Kurenai, a shrine maiden and his childhood friend, who serves as the protector of the Dark Dragon Blade, a legendary weapon said to be cursed with immense evil power. Soon after his arrival, the village is attacked by the Vigor Empire, led by a powerful fiend named Doku, one of the greater fiends who serves under a dark deity known as the Dark Disciple. Despite Ryu's skill, the village falls, Doku kills Kurenai and steals the Dark Dragon Blade, leaving Ryu for dead. It is a sick opening that sets up the world and characters well in a story about vengeance transformed into understanding, about the beauty of restraint in a world consumed by chaos. It's the story of a man trying to do the right thing when no one else can. Now, Ryu Hayabusa has never been a loud character, he's not full of swagger or witty one-liners, he's focused, restrained, and silent. He doesn't show off, he acts. And that silence isn't emptiness, it's a form of control. Ryu is a reflection of what the player has to become to survive in this harsh world. At first, he feels heavy, even clumsy. You'll miss attacks, you'll miss time rolls, and you'll die before you even understood what went wrong. This is going to happen a lot. But that frustration isn't a flaw, it's the beginning of the game's foundation. Slowly, through repetition and reflection, you start sort of syncing with him. His precision and his calmness in chaos becomes your mindset. And when that happens, Ninja Gaiden stops being a game about killing enemies, it becomes a game about mastering its mechanics at the highest level. I once described the Dark Souls experience to friends as learning to communicate with the game's design. That's what Ninja Gaiden feels like. It's not a conversation made of words, but of motion, reaction, and intent. The more fluent you become, the more beautiful the dialogue gets. What makes Ninja Gaiden's combat so incredible is how much freedom it offers. Every move has purpose, every weapon, from the Dragon Sword to the Lunar Staff, makes you feel powerful and deadly. The Dragon Sword is like your baseline starter weapon, and still my favorite all the way to the end of the game. But weapons like the Lunar Staff and the Vigorian Flail, with its speed and chaos, are still fun to use at any time. Enemies aren't fodder, they're lessons in patience. Regular soldiers can kill you in seconds if you get sloppy. Bosses aren't bullet sponges, they're pattern recognition tests that evolve the longer you fight them. And when you finally overcome one, it doesn't feel like you outsmarted them, it feels like you grew. Every perfect dodge, every clean counter, every Azuna drop all feel like part of the overall lesson. The world of Ninja Gaiden is cold, empty, and hostile. There's no safety, no respite. Even the save points sometimes feel like traps, as if pausing too long might invite enemies to kill you. The level design itself is an extension of that philosophy. Tight corridors test your awareness, vertical climbs test your patience, and traps punish complacency. So you're never going to feel comfortable here. You're supposed to earn every step forward you take. And that's sort of what separated Ninja Gaiden from almost everything else released at the time. Games like Prince of Persia or Devil May Cry 2 offered empowerment through spectacle. Ninja Gaiden offers enlightenment through endurance. The game doesn't care if you quit. It doesn't care if you get angry. It only cares that you are paying attention. If there's one universally accepted flaw in Ninja Gaiden, it's that goddamn camera. And it is a nightmare. It gets stuck, loses tracking, or hides enemies in tight spaces. But strangely, even this kind of feels a part of the experience in a strange way. It's just another level of difficulty for you to try and overcome. You can't rely on the game to frame your battles. You must manage that chaos yourself. It's a layer of unpredictability that forces adaptability. You learn to feel where your enemies are instead of seeing them. It's messy, frustrating, and occasionally unfair. But it also reinforces the same philosophy at the heart of the game. Control what you can, react to what you can't. There's also something deeply satisfying in how Ninja Gaiden sounds. The sharp slice of steel, the guttural enemy cries, the thud of a clean landing, it's all part of a feedback loop. Every successful strike feels good. Team Ninja understood the philosophy of sound and motion. Ryu's attacks have rhythm, fast, slow, deliberate. His animations don't cancel easily, which means every decision carries consequence. You commit to that action, for better or worse. When you finally reach a point where every movement feels intentional, where your inputs flow without hesitation, that's when Ninja Gaiden transforms. That's what makes the combat so tireless. Looking back, Ninja Gaiden feels like a turning point, a line in the sand for action game design. Let's be honest, without it, Neo wouldn't exist, Sekiro wouldn't either, and anybody who says otherwise just hasn't played it yet. You can feel its DNA in everything, from DMC5 to Bayonetta to Wulong. It proved that mechanical depth and challenge weren't relics of an arcade era. They were timeless tools for storytelling. And yet Ninja Gaiden never became a franchise powerhouse. Later revisions like Black refined its systems beautifully, Sigma polished its edges. But the raw heart of that 2004 original remains unmatched. It's too pure, too uncompromising to survive the era that followed. When gaming shifted towards accessibility and cinematic storytelling, Ninja Gaiden was left behind not because it was outdated, but because it sort of refused to change. That's why it still resonates with me after all these years. It's not nostalgia exactly, it's respect. Respect for a game that's treated its audience as capable of greatness, not just entertainment. See, most modern games want you to feel like a ninja. Ninja Gaiden makes you become one. Now, Ninja Gaiden isn't perfect. It's clunky, unfair, occasionally cruel, but it's also one of the most honest games ever made. It doesn't hide its intentions, it doesn't apologize for its rough edges, and it doesn't bend to meet you halfway. It stands firm, waiting. And when you finally meet it on its terms, it gives you something absolutely unforgettable. Because that's what real mastery feels like. It's not a rush of triumph, but a quiet moment of clarity. The realization that all that frustration, all those failures, all those endless deaths weren't punishment, they were preparation. Preparation for the moment you finally see the beauty that lies on the other side of that pain. And that is why Ninja Gaiden endures, not just as one of the hardest games ever made, but as one of the most meaningful. I don't know if Ninja Gaiden 4 will be able to live up to what came before, but I am excited to find out. That is a review, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. For more awesome reviews and great content, please remember to like and subscribe to One Up Kyle. And until next time, everybody, may all of your games be good ones, and I will catch you guys in the next video.